Hey everyone, this is Voltas coming through your speakers. Today we're doing a little 1v1 match on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is actually part of the ESWC Qualifiers. I believe that is a Korean competition. I'm not sure where these guys sit in that, and it looks like there's some banter going back and forth about Idra, the infamous member of Evil Geniuses. So anyway, let's get this thing started!
It's like Voltas, you hear me coming through your speakers. You see me mashing up your airwaves. I know you can't get enough of my sound.
Alrighty, in the lower left-hand corner, as mentioned, Evil Geniuses EGiNcontrol playing Protoss. And in the upper right-hand corner, playing Zerg, the Swarm, the Creep, we have Root Destiny. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, this is actually part of the ESWC Qualifiers. I have cast a couple of these as well as some of the interactions. Actually, I think I casted Idra against a teammate, the Muslim, and it's kind of awkward when you have to fight against one of your own teammates just to get into a qualifying round of a tournament. Because one of you is not going to make it out the other side. But, that happens, and Idra made it to the other side of that. And so we'll see how this goes and see if EGiNcontrol moves on or if Root Destiny takes him out. Not a lot going on right now. I can see this probe is doing a little harassment. It looks like both sides are staying at the same harvester count. So I don't see anybody cutting harvesters or probes in order to... Well, actually, it does look like Protoss is getting a little bit behind in their probe count, but that could be because he's just not chrono boosting. Looks like he is setting up his cybernetic core, so nothing too unusual here. He's got a zealot coming out, which is going to block that little area in front of his base and prevent any early on Zergling aggression. It looks like, and I missed it, the probe put down a pylon. This is really just to slow down some of the efforts of the Zerg with their second hatchery. I'm pretty sure he's not going to let this go. He's going to cancel it right about now. Wow, good call. And then, of course, right when he did that, the hatchery goes up. So that was just a little bit of a delay, which, anytime you can slow up that Zerg kind of engine, you're better off. Now that's a neat little trick that I've learned in my play, and that is you can leave your zealot out here to block the door, and then send your probe in by clicking on the minerals, and they can just, for some miracle, warp right through physical bodies, including a zealot. And that that doesn't work with just Protoss. It works with any harvester unit trying to get to the minerals. Like I said, it was a pathing issue, and they figured, hey, harvesters get priority over melee and combat elements. And we see a little bit of a, just poke out to clean up that little observing Zergling out here. Looks like this probe's out here is either going to put a pylon down or start expanding out here for possibly adding a nexus and a second base. And as you can see, Zerg up here has already gone about putting together their second base and now is maynarding out a significant number of drones, bringing the spine collars around for initial defense from any aggression from Protoss. And Protoss is putting down the second nexus in their natural. And they took out this little supply depot. I'm not sure why. But the reason that supply depot is there is it's actually a neutral supply depot, so no one actually gets supply out of it. But it does prevent early on aggression with some kinds of cheese that we saw throughout beta, and you know, the first couple seasons of StarCraft, whereas then you could just pop a couple pylons, pop a cannon out there, you know, something to prevent access in and out. So basically cutting off your troops, which for somebody like Zerg that relies on some ground troops for quite some time, that can be a real pain. And it looks like I haven't mentioned, but Protoss has teched up to Void Rays and at least got one out. I'm not sure if that's just for kind of probing around. See, he's now transitioned to Phoenixes, so I don't know if this I don't know if the Void Rays was just kind of like to go in there to antagonize and give just a little annoyance, some harassment, as they call it, to the Zerg, which, you know, honestly, I am big on harassing Zerg as early and as often as possible. Letting that machine go is basically your death. I think that's pretty much with any race, though. If you let them go, if you let Protoss get their big ball of ugliness, or you let, you know, the Marine Marauder medevac get out of hand, or even a siege tank line out of hand for Terran, you're just in trouble. So pretty much any race will try to do as much harassment as they can. And Root Destiny is properly responding with some queens. Not too many, but enough to at least keep this early air dominance from taking too much control. Ironically, in control. Yeah, pun intended. So, like I said, the only thing we're seeing right now is some early harassment from the air. We do have a pretty significant number of Zerglings. Looks like he's getting both sides of these destructible rocks with the Zerglings trying to break this down. And this is probably going to be a natural progression to a third base. I'm assuming there's no other reason to open up those rocks but to bring in a third base. And then let's look on the units being created tab, or the units, total units on the ground, I should say. We do have an Overseer coming, so site for, say, like Dark Templars or something is not going to be an issue for the Zerg. Looks like the air mix on the Protoss side is starting to move to a more traditional ground-based system. As far as things in production right now, it looks like the Zerg is really working diligently on their upgrades. They've got +1 damage and +1 carapace or armor running. Now this is quite a significant number of Zerglings, and I think that when the +1 armor and +1 damage come up, that's gonna be good news for those little Zerglings, despite the fact that they kind of lose their usability. Well, I shouldn't say they use their usability, but they're, you know, obviously when you start getting to tier 2 things, the Zerglings become more of an augmentation to your main battle force. It's like this Overseer is going to stop seeing, and I'm not sure why he put these guys down here, but these are imposters. Okay, those got cleaned up. Significant number of Zerglings now. This is not just poking around. This is not just maintaining map dominance. These guys look like they're trying to get something done. And I think with those +1 upgrades, which is now done, we're going to see some kind of aggression. I'm looking in the production tab, and we do have the Protoss finishing up the extended thermal lance, which is the distance upgrade for the Colossus. So we are going to see some kind of Colossus play. There's no other reason to have that extended thermal lance unless you were going to use Colossi. And we already have one Colossus on the board. So despite the early air harass that we kind of see continuing slowly here, we're definitely going to see a transition into a more traditional Protoss ground-based kind of ball of hate and love and lasers and War of the World funness and stuff. We do have some Void Rays and some Phenai. Is it Phenai? I'm not sure. Phoenixes is. I'm not even sure if there's a plural term for Phoenix, because I believe Phoenix was one mythical creature, not multiple. So it's very possible that there was never devised a plural for Phoenixes. Zerg is building up quite the ball. They've already moved up to the Ultralisk, and with the Carapace upgrades, just now finishing up, we've got one for those. This is a pretty scary army. It looks like these two sides haven't done a lot of harassment to each other, and they've both kind of let each other go. So we're already seeing them migrate into the late game, and we're starting to look at those big, huge masses. Okay, good set of force fields. The only problem with a good set of force fields is because the Ultralisks are considered massive, they stomp on those force fields. So, they were pretty much rendered useless here, and it looks like those Ultralisks are going to be the magic formula from tearing apart this nasty ball of Protoss. Now, I do like how iNcontrol used that high ground with the Colossi in order to kind of laser down, or at least back off that Ultralisk push. Doesn't look like Zerg has anything to really deal with air, despite the fact they were attacked by air pretty early on. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, he is trying to get rid of those queens. I don't know if this is an efficient engagement. It seems like he waited till there were enough queens to actually defend against this Phoenix harass. And then, of course, that's going to take them down pretty quickly. I do like how he was able to deal with those infestors, despite the fact being fungal growth and losing the Phoenixes. He was able to get rid of some of those infestors. I really think that the profitability of that was neglectable, though. Phoenixes are relatively expensive, and you can't crank those out as quickly as a gateway unit. So I don't think that was a profitable engagement for Protoss. But anytime you can get some of those infestors out of there, that's a good thing. All right, looks like we have another engagement between Protoss and our Zerg swarm. I really don't think that Protoss has that kind of magic formula of the ball to deal with this. That's a lot of Ultralisks, and I really don't think that they have what is needed to deal with this. Now, that they do have this little cannon thing up here, and I love the way iNcontrol puts those Colossi up on a hill. Wow, this is amazing. I did not expect that. I love the way he is utilizing his high ground, utilizing his positioning to really just make things miserable for Zerg. Despite the fact he's got way too many Ultralisks. Let's look at this. Let's look at the number. He's got 9 Ultralisks, and that's not going to go down anytime soon. Well, I shouldn't say that, but that's a big thing to chew on. And the way he's utilizing the high ground here, really, he just made Zerg give up that expansion. Literally, just no way to deal with it. Now we've got some Archons added to this mix, which will probably be useful in their DPS against the Ultralisk wall. Currently, supply for both sides is somewhat similar. 156 for Protoss, 184 for Zerg. Zerg is a little bit ahead with that, but I really think that iNcontrol is utilizing that high ground, utilizing the terrain in ways that I've not really seen, and really to his advantage. He seems to be, okay, it looks like Zerg is now saying, okay, I'm tired of playing with you on your high ground. I'm going to go in here and go towards your stuff. But I'm not really sure how this engagement's going to pan out. Infestors are coming up, dropping down infested Terrans. The Ultralisks are just tearing through things, but those Archons are just holding like champs. Like champs! Look at that. I'm really impressed with iNcontrol's play, and the way he's utilizing the terrain, utilizing his position. Zerg is probably best all up in your face, and he is just not letting them do that. Zerg has kind of responded with a lot of queens, which might be able to infuse those Ultralisks I'm not sure what he has planned. Again, more Archons coming down the pipe. Protoss is trying to expand out to this gold base, already long distance mining. I think with that contain, he let his macro play get a little bit behind, a little bit lag behind when it came to, you know, always utilizing that high ground, not really looking back to his base and developing his macro play. So he does have that gold base in process. I could definitely see him possibly going in and doing a double expand. Now his little soft contain with these cannons up here is being cleaned up by these few Zerglings. I'm not, you know, it looks like he could have used, I don't know why he didn't attack this pylon here, because I'm not one for telling pro players what to do, but I am under the impression that if you depower the pylon, that the cannons stop working. But, you know, who am I to argue? I'm freaking Wood League when it comes to StarCraft. And, you know, sideline quarterbacking is probably what I do best. So anyway, we've got that Protoss ball of just pain. Looks like we've got, what, 5 Colossi in place. And, oh, he's just mowing through here. Now, there are Corruptors here, which can deal with the Colossi, so this engagement is going to be pretty critical. I do like the positioning of Zerg. Had a little bit of a surround on Protoss. I don't think that was a comfortable situation. The Corruptors are doing their job, killing the Colossi, but those Archons are just tearing a new one into Zerg. Look at this. Despite the fact that we've lost all Colossi, it looks like a majority of the Zerg army has been decimated. And with 5 Archons in place, we see the well played from Root Destiny. I like that game. I love the high ground play that we saw over here from EGiNcontrol. He really lived up to his name, his namesake, EGiNcontrol. I think he kept in control of Zerg, and Zerg is sometimes the hardest race to keep in control of. So good game, and thanks for watching.